Imagine you are sitting in a doctor's office and you are told that the very foods you have been eating to save your heart are actually the silent culprits behind your stiffening joints and your declining energy. For decades, we have been told that beans and legumes are the ultimate superfoods for anyone over the age of 60. We are told they are the perfect plant-based protein, the gold standard for fiber, and the secret to longevity. But what if I told you that for the aging body, certain legumes are acting more like a slow-acting poison than a panacea? Most of what you have been taught about the safety of these heart-healthy staples is a dangerous oversimplification. As we cross the threshold of 60, our digestive enzymes change, our gut lining becomes more permeable, and our inflammatory response shifts. In this new biological landscape, specific legumes contain high concentrations of anti-nutrients and toxic lectins that don't just cause a bit of gas. They can actually trigger autoimmune flares, exacerbate chronic pain, and interfere with the absorption of the very minerals you need to keep your bones from becoming brittle. You have been led to believe that every bean is your friend, but the truth is far more complex and significantly more urgent for your long-term independence. Before we dive deep into the specific legumes that could be compromising your health and the superior alternatives that will revitalize your cellular energy, I want you to take a moment to think about your future. Think about the legacy you are building and the moments you still want to share with your grandchildren, your spouse, and your friends. Your health is the only vehicle that will take you there. There is a massive industry out there that profits from your confusion and your eventual reliance on a cocktail of daily medications. They don't want you to know that simple dietary shifts can be more powerful than a prescription pad. If you believe that your health is your greatest asset and you refuse to become a burden to your family due to preventable decline, then join our community right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. By doing so, you are making a pact with yourself to prioritize clarity over convenience and longevity over the status quo. You deserve to live your golden years with a sharp mind and a body that moves without pain, and we are here to ensure you have the cutting-edge science to make that happen. To understand why certain legumes are dangerous after 60, we have to look at the silent war happening inside your gut. Organizations like the Mayo Clinic have long researched the impact of lectins, those sticky proteins found in the skins and seeds of many plants. While a 20-year-old might process these with ease, an older digestive system often struggles. The first legume on our list of the 4 worst you should never touch is the unfermented soybean. For years, the massive industrial food complex has marketed soy as the ultimate health food, hiding it in everything from your bread to your salad dressings. However, for those over 60, unfermented soy is a hormonal minefield. It contains high levels of phytoestrogens and goitrogens that can suppress your thyroid function. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows down, and the last thing you need is a food source that puts the brakes on your thyroid. Furthermore, soy is one of the most genetically modified crops on the planet, often laden with glyphosate residues that decimate your microbiome. This isn't just about digestion. It is about protecting your endocrine system from external disruptors that mimic your natural hormones and leave you feeling fatigued and mentally foggy. Moving from the thyroid to the joints, we encounter our second offender, the common red kidney bean. While these are a staple in many kitchens, they are among the highest sources of phytohemagglutinin, a specific type of lectin that is particularly aggressive toward the human intestinal lining. Even when cooked, if not prepared with surgical precision, these beans can lead to a condition known as leaky gut. For someone in their 60s or 70s, a leaky gut is a gateway to systemic inflammation. When these lectins escape into your bloodstream, your immune system goes on high alert, often attacking your own tissues. This is why many people find their arthritis flare-ups coinciding with a high bean diet. It is a tragedy of modern nutrition that the very food people eat to lower their cholesterol is often the same food that keeps them reaching for the ibuprofen every morning. The industrial food giants love the low cost and high shelf life of these legumes, but they aren't the ones living with your joint pain. The third legume you must avoid is one that might surprise you because it is often marketed as a healthy snack: the peanut. Technically a legume and not a nut, peanuts are highly susceptible to a mold called Aspergillus, which produces a potent carcinogen known as aflatoxin. While younger bodies have more robust detoxification pathways in the liver, the aging liver is often already taxed by years of processing environmental toxins and medications. Aflatoxin is a silent threat that can contribute to long-term liver damage and increased cancer risk. Beyond the mold issue, peanuts are incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids. While we need some omega-6s, an imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3 is a primary driver of chronic inflammation in the cardiovascular system. At this stage of your life, protecting your heart and your arteries is non-negotiable. Eating a handful of roasted peanuts might seem innocent, but you are essentially pouring fuel on the fire of systemic inflammation, making your arteries less flexible and your heart work harder than it should. Finally, we have to address the broad bean or fava bean. For a specific segment of the population, particularly those of Mediterranean or Middle Eastern descent, these beans can trigger a severe reaction called favism if they have a common genetic enzyme deficiency. Even without this deficiency, fava beans are extremely high in tannins and visine, which can interfere with nutrient absorption. As we get older, our ability to absorb vitamin B12, magnesium, and calcium naturally declines. We cannot afford to consume anti-nutrients that actively block these vital minerals from entering our system. You are eating to nourish your bones and your brain, yet these legumes act as a barrier, preventing your body from utilizing the nutrients you are working so hard to provide. It is a cycle of depletion that leaves many seniors feeling weak and fragile, despite following what they believe is a healthy diet. Now that we have identified the culprits that are sabotaging your vitality, we must look at the solution. The goal isn't to remove legumes entirely, but to choose the ones that work in harmony with your aging biology. The transition from the worst to the best is where the real transformation happens. We are looking for legumes that provide high-quality protein without the toxic load, and fiber that supports your microbiome without tearing your gut lining. This is about biological efficiency. We want the maximum nutritional bang for the minimum inflammatory buck. Harvard researchers have consistently pointed to the importance of fiber in preventing cognitive decline and maintaining a healthy weight. But the source of that fiber matters immensely when your internal systems are shifting. The first of the 4 legumes you must eat is the lentil, specifically the red or yellow variety. These are superior for the over 60 demographic because they are much lower in lectins than their larger bean cousins, and their hulls are thinner and easier to break down. Red lentils are a powerhouse of polyphenols, antioxidants that specifically target oxidative stress in the brain. They cook quickly, which means less time for the nutrients to degrade, and they provide a steady, slow-release form of energy that prevents the blood sugar spikes and crashes that can lead to insulin resistance. In a world where Big Pharma wants you on a lifelong regimen of metformin, incorporating red lentils into your diet is a powerful way to take control of your metabolic health. They provide the satiety you need to maintain a healthy weight without the bloating and discomfort that come with harder, more aggressive beans. Second on our list of mandatory legumes is the chickpea, but with a very important caveat. They must be properly prepared. When chickpeas are soaked for 24 hours and then pressure cooked, their lectin content is virtually neutralized. What remains is a magnificent source of molybdenum and manganese, minerals that are essential for bone health and enzyme function. Chickpeas are also rich in choline, a precursor to acetylcholine, which is the neurotransmitter responsible for memory and muscle control. As we age, maintaining our cognitive sharpness is often our #1 priority. By choosing chickpeas, you are essentially feeding your brain the raw materials it needs to stay fast and responsive. You aren't just eating a meal, you are performing a targeted intervention for your neurological health. The third legume that belongs in your pantry is the black bean. While they are a bean, Their dark pigment is a signal of their incredible health benefits. That deep color comes from anthocyanins, the same powerful antioxidants found in blueberries and blackberries. For those over 60, these anthocyanins are critical for protecting the delicate capillaries in your eyes and supporting healthy blood pressure. Black beans offer a unique combination of protein and fiber that helps regulate the transit time of food through your digestive tract, ensuring that your microbiome remains balanced and diverse. A diverse microbiome is your best defense against the inflammaging that characterizes so much of modern aging. When you eat black beans, you are supporting your vascular system from the inside out, keeping your circulation strong and your energy levels consistent throughout the day. The fourth and perhaps most misunderstood legume you must include in your diet is the fermented soybean, specifically in the form of organic tempeh, or natto. While we previously identified unfermented soy as a major danger to your thyroid and hormonal balance, the ancient process of fermentation completely transforms this plant. Fermentation acts like a pre-digestion step, where beneficial bacteria break down the problematic lectins, phytates, and goitrogens that make raw soy so hazardous for those over 60. What is left behind is a nutritional goldmine that you cannot find anywhere else. Natto, in particular, is the world's richest source of vitamin K2. This is the critical nutrient that acts as a traffic controller for calcium in your body. Without enough K2, the calcium you take for your bones can end up in your arteries, leading to calcification and heart disease. By consuming fermented legumes, you are ensuring that calcium stays in your skeleton where it belongs, maintaining your bone density and keeping your cardiovascular system supple and youthful. This is the kind of targeted ancestral wisdom that the processed food industry ignores because they cannot patent a traditional fermentation process. Understanding the difference between these two groups of legumes is the first step toward reclaiming your health, but the way you integrate them into your daily life is where the true magic happens. We have to look at the ritual of eating as a form of medicine. For many of us, the habits of a lifetime are hard to break. You might have spent 40 years making a specific chili or a certain salad, and the idea of changing your ingredients might feel daunting. But I want you to consider the cost of staying the same. The chronic fatigue, the stiff knees in the morning, and the brain fog that we often dismiss as just getting older are frequently just signs of nutritional friction. Your body is working too hard to process the wrong fuels. When you switch to the 4 legumes we have discussed, red lentils, pressure-cooked chickpeas, black beans, and fermented soy, you are removing that friction. You are giving your cells a cleaner, more efficient source of power. This shift is especially vital when we consider the concept of independence. No one wants to spend their later years as a burden to their children or stuck in the revolving door of the healthcare system. The pharmaceutical industry thrives on managing symptoms rather than addressing the root cause. If they can keep you just sick enough to need a pill, but just healthy enough to keep buying them, they have a customer for life. By choosing your legumes with the precision of a surgeon, you are opting out of that system. You are taking a stand for your own autonomy. Imagine being 75 or 80 years old and having the stamina to go for a hike, the strength to lift your luggage, and the mental clarity to engage in deep, meaningful conversations. That future is built on the plate you serve yourself today. It is built on the decision to stop poisoning your system with aggressive lectins and start nourishing it with bioavailable, life-sustaining nutrients. The science is clear. Our bodies at 60 are not the same as they were at 16. Our stomach acid production naturally decreases, making it harder to break down complex proteins. Our intestinal villi, the tiny finger-like projections that absorb nutrients, can become worn down. This is why the preparation of your legumes is just as important as the type you choose. Even the good legumes like black beans and chickpeas require respect. You must commit to the soaking process. You must embrace the pressure cooker, which uses high heat and pressure to shatter the chemical bonds of remaining anti-nutrients. Think of it as a form of culinary alchemy. You are taking a raw, defensive seed and turning it into a soft, healing food. This extra bit of effort in the kitchen is a small price to pay for the reduction in systemic inflammation and the increase in daily vitality. Let's talk about the practical side of this transition. If you are used to the convenience of canned beans, the industrial food complex has made it very easy for you to stay on the path of least resistance. Most canned beans are processed quickly and often contain additives or BPA in the lining of the cans, which further disrupts your hormones. If you must use cans, look for organic brands that specify BPA-free, and always rinse your beans under cold water until the foam disappears. That foam is a sign of saponins and residual lectins that your gut does not need. However, the gold standard will always be starting from dry, organic seeds. It connects you to your food, it saves you money, and most importantly, it gives you total control over what enters your temple. You are the gatekeeper of your health, and nothing should pass your lips that hasn't been vetted for its ability to help you thrive. As we look at the broader picture of longevity, we see that the longest living populations on Earth, the blue zones, all have a high consumption of legumes. But if you look closer, they aren't eating the genetically modified, pesticide-laden, or unfermented varieties found in modern Western supermarkets. They are eating traditional varieties, prepared with traditional methods passed down through generations. They aren't suffering from the same rates of autoimmune disease or cognitive decline that we see in the United States. They have maintained the wisdom that we are currently rediscovering through high-level nutritional science. By following this guide, you are essentially bridging the gap between ancient longevity and modern clinical research. You are taking the best of both worlds to create a personalized shield against the diseases of aging. It is also important to address the emotional aspect of this journey. Food is social, food is comfort, and food is often tied to our identity. Changing what you eat can feel like losing a part of yourself. But I want you to reframe this. You aren't losing anything. You are gaining a new lease on life. You are trading a bowl of kidney beans that leaves you bloated and sore for a vibrant lentil dal that leaves you energized and focused. You are trading a peanut butter sandwich that inflames your arteries for a tempeh stir-fry that protects your heart. This is an upgrade in every sense of the word. Your family wants the best version of you. They want the version of you that can play on the floor with the kids, the version that remembers every detail of a shared story, and the version that remains a pillar of strength in the family. That version of you is fueled by the 4 must-eat legumes and protected by your refusal to touch the 4 worst ones. The road to health after 60 is not paved with silver bullets or miracle cures. It is paved with the small, disciplined choices we make every single day. The common enemy, the massive corporations that prioritize profit over your well-being, wants you to believe that your decline is inevitable. They want you to accept that pain and fatigue are just part of the aging process. I am here to tell you that they are wrong. Your body has an incredible capacity for repair and regeneration if you simply stop throwing obstacles in its way. By removing the 4 worst legumes, you are removing those obstacles. By adding the 4 best, you are providing the building blocks for a vibrant, independent future. You have the power to change your trajectory. You have the knowledge to outsmart the statistics. I want you to take a look at your pantry today. Be ruthless. If you find those unfermented soy products, those bags of red kidney beans, or those jars of mold-prone peanuts, recognize them for what they are. Anchors holding you back from your full potential. Replace them with the vibrant reds of lentils, the deep blacks of antioxidant-rich beans, and the fermented power of tempeh. This isn't just a diet. It is a manifesto for how you intend to live the rest of your life. You are choosing to be the protagonist of your health story, not a passive observer. You are choosing to invest in yourself because you know that you are worth the effort. As you begin to make these changes, pay close attention to your body. Notice how your joints feel after a week without kidney beans. Notice your energy levels in the afternoon when you've swapped peanuts for a handful of sprouted seeds or a lentil soup. Your body will provide the feedback you need. It will thank you with better sleep, clearer skin, and a renewed sense of purpose. This is the surgeon-like precision we must apply to our nutrition as we age. We leave nothing to chance. We use the best evidence available to craft a lifestyle that supports our highest goals. You have spent your life taking care of others, building a career, and contributing to your community. Now, it is time to turn that care and attention toward yourself. You have a lot of life left to live, and it should be lived with the highest quality possible. I am so proud of you for taking this time to educate yourself and for having the courage to question the mainstream narrative. It takes a strong person to realize that what they've been told for years might not be the whole truth, but you are that person. You are someone who values truth and vitality above all else. Remember, every meal is an opportunity to move closer to the person you want to be 5, 10, and 20 years from now. Make the right choice. Choose the legumes that love you back. If you found this deep dive into the science of longevity, legumes helpful, there is so much more we need to discuss regarding your health after 60.